In Argentina, after Javier Milei's victory in Sunday's runoff, the transition process begins to take shape. In Venezuela, the National Electoral Council ratified the success for the simulation for the referendum in the defense of the Essequibo. In Palestine, after 45 days of Israeli invasion of Gaza, occupation forces continue to target civilian infrastructures, killing hundreds of Palestinians. Hello, welcome to From the South. I'm Ana Rosabal from the teleSUR studios in Havana, Cuba. We begin with the news. In Argentina, after Sunday's victory of the candidate to the extreme right, Javier Milei, of the party Liberty Advances, the mechanism for a transition office are beginning to take shape. In the first speech after the elections, Milei announced a process of reconstruction in which there will be no room for lukewarmness or half measures. This morning, he reiterated to the press his intentions to close the central bank and his plan to make the currency the one chosen by individuals. Another important aspect is if and when he will fulfill the plans to eliminate subsidies provided companies such as Argentina's airlines, Argentina's Yacimientos Petrolíferos Fiscales, and destroy the southern common markets, distance himself from Brazil and China, and leave international trade in private hands. It also remains to be defined how the relationship with the International Monetary Fund will be, taking into account that former Mauricio Macri, known one of its most important partners, has contracted the largest debt in history with that organization. On Sunday, and after a smooth election day, Javier Milei, the candidate of Liberty Advances, was elected as the new president of the country.
The elections began at 8 a.m. and ended at 6 p.m. with a voter margin of more than 60% of the Argentine population. After a long day, the report issued by the National Electoral Chamber announced that the candidate of the Liberty Advance, Javier Milei, won the ballot with the 55.69% of the votes over the candidate of Union for the Homeland, Sergio Massa, who obtained 44.30% with the 98.28% of the votes counted. After the results were known, Javier Milei addressed the Argentine people.
Today we return to the past that made this country great. Today we embrace the ideas of freedom. The ideas of liberty. In short, the ideas of our founding fathers, who made us 35 years from being a country of barbarians to become the first world power.
Minutes before, the now former presidential candidate Sergio Massa acknowledged his rival's victory while thanking those who entrust him with their vote.
I want to thank all those who, in this discussion of two proposals for a country that were at stake, not only from unions, from social organizations, from civil society organizations, but also from that moving micromilitancy in the subway, in the house-to-house meeting. Try to tell every Argentine man and woman what was and what is the project of the country that we represent.
Argentinians are now expecting the Milei government, which will take over next December 10th, to take over its platform promising measures as controversial as dollarization, the elimination of the central bank, the privatization of education, and the free carrying of arms.
On the other hand, the National Electoral Council of Venezuela ratified the success of the simulation for the referendum in the defense of the Essequibo, where the participation tripled with respect to other tests. During the press conference, the president of the National Electoral Council, Elvis Amoroso, congratulated the civism and participation of the Venezuelan people in the electoral simulation prior to a consultative referendum on December 3rd. In a speech, Amoroso informed the electoral schedule for the consultation in defense of the Essequibo territory and thanked public authorities and political institutions for their support to the referendum. The official assured that during the drill, all the technical, logistic, and operative protocols established for the exercise were complied with, and the effectiveness of the process was verified as well as the high participation.
The most important was the high level of participation of the voters, which resulted in the Venezuelan people standing in line until late at night looking to participate in this simulation and become familiar with this process that is in full development. The voting per polling station tripled, a fact that reaffirms the record of participation in an electoral simulation.
The president of the Venezuelan National Electoral Council, Elvis Amoroso, thanked the people of Venezuela for the support and called for a massive participation in the December 3rd referendum.
Once again, we thank the people of Venezuela and all the presidents of the public powers for all the support they have been given to the National Electoral Council, to the electoral powers as one of the 5 powers of the homeland. But we continue to insist that the most important thing is this electoral process is you, Venezuelan citizens, who are participating massively in this program. And we are sure that the next December 3rd, you will come massively to express your absolute will. Thank you very much to all of you.
Let's take a short break. Remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English. We'll find news in different formats, new days, and more. Our studies coming up. Stay with us. Welcome back. In Palestine, after 45 days since the beginning of Israel's invasion of Gaza, occupation forces continue to carry out military incursions in the region, killing hundreds of Palestinians. Local sources reported that during Monday night, Israeli fighter jets launched a series of attacks on the northwest of Khan Yunis town in southern Gaza, killing dozens of citizens, most of them women and children. In another attack in northern Gaza, the occupation artillery shelled the Kuwait school near the International Hospital, which was operating as a shelter for several displaced Palestinians. The number of wounded and killed and the amount of damage caused by the shelling of the school is currently unknown due to the disruption of communications in the northern Gaza Strip, as well as the impossibility for ambulances to access the site due to the siege. The Palestinian Health Minister reported that Israel military vehicles opened fire in the International Hospital north of Gaza. Health Ministry spokesman Sharab Al-Qura reported that in addition to tanks, occupation forces deployed several snipers on the rooftops of buildings near the hospital to prevent ambulances from entering and leaving. The catastrophic attack took the life of 15 people, mostly women and children. The spokesman said that the National Hospital houses thousands of displaced people and about 700 medical staff, and it is feared that a similar situation to the one occurred at the Al-Shifa Medical Complex will be repeated. On Monday, local media announced that 31 premature babies arrived in Egypt through the Rafah border crossing after being transferred from the hospital of the Gaza Strip. The Palestinian Red Crescent confirmed the evacuation and moving of the baby reported as patients in critical condition who were in Al-Shifa Hospital, adding that it took place in coordination with the World Health Organization and the United Nations Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs. On the other hand, according to Ahmed Sakut, the director of the Gaza Hospital, stressed that more than 250 patients with severely infected wounds and other urgent diseases remain on Al-Shifa, and the health institution pointed out that it's unable to provide most of the treatments after running out of water, medical supplies, and fuel for emergency generators due to a power outage throughout the territory. The head of the neonatal intensive care of Emirati Eye Hospital, Dr. Mohamed Salama, talks about the conditions of the patient coming from Al Shifa Hospital in Gaza.
I am Dr. Mohamed Salama, head of neonatal intensive care at Emirati Eye Hospital. Today we have received 31 cases coming from the Shifa Hospital from the infant section. The cases of the patients are between stable, medium, and critical. We have attended all the cases immediately because they were suffering from hypothermia and great dehydration. The critical cases were attended in emergency and we managed to stabilize them. God willing, this will be a transitory stage since they're transferred from the hospital to Shifa to the Arab Republic of Egypt. It is impossible to transfer all the patients at once or in one trip. There must be a previous station here so that tomorrow they will be able to arrive to Egypt. We have been notified of the arrival of 31 children, but the total number of children in the Shifa hospital was 36, of which 5 were martyred before arriving here.
We now make contact in the Gaza Strip with colleague Noah Razin, who has prepared another report on the situation faced by the Palestinians in that enclave.
It has been almost 6 weeks since Israel started its offensive on Gaza. Right now I am inside the Shuhada al-Aqsa hospital. This hospital that became as a home for thousands of Palestinians. They used to reside in these tents like the one behind me. However, as winter is approaching as it is raining here in Gaza, we saw tents blown away by the wind, or at least damaged. Now these people are literally displaced. They don't have anywhere to go and they have to stay between the corridors of the hospital. We're talking about the no access of water, no access of food, no access even for the basics like the milk, the medicine, the women's sanitary pads, the diapers, and that's why over the past weeks the Palestinian Health Ministry here in Gaza threatened and warned of a pandemic to spread in Gaza. However, this is the only thing that the people can do, is to be patient and be steadfast, because apparently this war is going to take more time. Noor Harazin, teleSUR, Gaza.
In China, Foreign Minister Wang Yi met this Monday in Beijing with his Palestinian counterpart Riyad al-Maliki, and with the Foreign Minister of Saudi Arabia, Egypt, Indonesia, and Jordan. The Chinese minister reaffirmed the Asian giant's position in the conflict in the Gaza Strip. It said that China will always stand at the side of the just cause of the legitimate rights of human beings. Wang also urged the international community to take effective measures so that the war in Gaza does not continue. For his part, the Palestinian Foreign Minister Riyad al-Maliki thanked his Chinese counterpart and on behalf of the Arab country for the search of a peaceful solution to the ongoing conflict. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel and teleSUR English, where you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, sub-stories, special broadcastings, and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to set up to date on the world's more recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez presented his new government Monday, keeping most of the incoming ministers in their posts. Sánchez said his administration will have a strong feminist accent with 4 female vice presidents and more female ministers than male ministers. Spanish socialist leader Pedro Sánchez was sworn in on Friday as a prime minister for another term after coming second in the general elections, but managed to stay in power thanks to the agreement reached with several minor parties. In this sense, Sánchez assured that he will prioritize dialogue and negotiation in search of social and territorial cohesion in Spain.
The new government will have a strong feminist accent with 4 women vice presidents and more women ministers than men. It will also be a continuity government in the economic department and also in the ministries of state. It will prioritize social policies and more specifically housing and policies dedicated to young people. This is a government of women and men to bring stability to the country over the next 4 years, a team with a high political profile. for a legislator with a high political profile, people capable of leading but also of reaching agreement and explaining them publicly.
On Monday, the government of Zimbabwe declared a state of emergency in the capital, Harare, due to the cholera outbreak, which so far has left dozens of people dead and more than 7,000 suspected cases. The director of the Municipal Health Service, Prosper Shansi, said that as of today, there are 122 confirmed cases and 13 deaths in Harare. The authorities, as a preventive measure, have banned vendors from operating in the commercial districts of the main cities in response to the outbreak of the disease. Since the worsening of the virus was reported in February, Zimbabwe has recorded more than 7,000 suspected cases of cholera and almost 150 deaths, of which 51 have been confirmed by laboratory tests.
There are a lot of things that are going to take place. We want to make sure that all the garbage is collected. We want to make sure that all these illegal street vendors are removed. We have warned them, and we are also giving this task to city. If they don't take action, government is coming in to remove illegal vendors. And we have also asked town council to go and clear all those illegal fields which are being irrigated using raw sewage. There are vegetables which are being sold. We don't know where, but we understand some of them are going to Mbari Msika. Lettuce, rugare, cucumbers, and mbora. All these are being irrigated using sewage water. So, yes, we have to take it as an emergency to make sure that things are sorted out.
As residents, we are very angry with the city of Harare by the way they are doing it. We also blame the city health department. They are not giving people the information they should know about cholera and typhoid. Even those diarrheal cases, people don't have the information. Some don't even know the signs and symptoms of cholera, signs and symptoms of typhoid. So people are just falling sick in their houses.
On Monday in Chad, opposition leader Suksek Masra urged his followers to national reconciliation. The leader of the Chadian Transformers Party urged his followers to reach out the government of the interim president Mahamat Deby and also called necessary revenge. Masra had just returned from exile under an agreement reached with the military authorities after several months following the repression of street protests against the postponement of the general election. Masra said that he has returned with the same determination to fight to make justice and equality realities in Chad. The opposition protests against the postponement of the election left, according to official data, half 100 deaths, although opposition sources assured that the number of deaths due to the government's pressure exceeded 300.
I want you to know that we went out for justice and equality, to carry your voice, and we have returned today with the same conviction and the same determination to fight to make justice and equality a reality in this country of ours. As of today, our doors are open, our hearts are open, and I would like you to open yours as well, to continue the dialogue so that this transition, which took off in April 2021 and which went through a period of extreme turbulence in 2022, particularly on October 20, can land in 2024 at the airport of democracy, where, for the first time, Chadians will choose their leader in an exclusive and free manner.
Dominican Republic authorities confirmed death toll rose to 21 after heavy deterioration rains. The weather event forced the evacuation of more than 13,000 people from their homes, and preliminary data report that it affected more than 2,000 homes and left 45 communities cut off from communication. Among the most notable damages are problems in 25 circuits of the electricity distribution company and 110 aqueducts of the National Drinking Water and Sewerage Institute were out of service. Emergency services are still working in the area as if the fear that there may be more victims. President Luis Abinader described it as even with the highest rainfall ever recorded in the country, with values of 131 millimeters in some areas. In its context, authorities declared 3 days of national mourning following the Delhi floodings. The national mourning will be in effect from Monday to Wednesday, November 22nd. During these 3 days, the national flag will fly at the half-mast in military installations and in public buildings throughout the Dominican Republic. On the other hand, it was reported that 30 out of 32 provinces are still in alert, and 14 of them in red, 12 in yellow, and 4 in green, due to the heavy rainfall, which also triggered costs in basic services such as electricity and drinking water in some regions. And before saying goodbye, we want to thank our Caribbean audience, especially the audience of Trinidad and Tobago. We are pleased to share our newscasts and contribute to provide an alternative news source of the latest world events. And we have come to the end of this news brief. You can find these and many other stories on our website at telesurenglish.net, and join us on social media, Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram, and TikTok. For Telesur English, I'm Ana Rosabal. Thank you for watching.